illegal here federally in the U.S., although there are states where it is recreationally legal and medicinally legal. I don't think that it was probably smart for her to bring in 150 pounds of weed, into the U.S. However, I also don't think that throwing the proverbial book at her for it needs to be something that the U.S. needs to hone down on. Lest we not forget, about a year ago, if maybe even that long, JP Morgan had a boat that was raided by U.S. Customs right here in New York, and there was tons of cocaine. Now, again, this boat was owned by JP Morgan and Chase. Yes, your banking financial institution. It was a story that was very, very quiet in the U.S. news, but you can definitely look it up. JP Morgan Chase boat gets seized with hundreds of pounds of cocaine. And as fast as that story made news is as fast as it did not. It got out of here. So, listen, now, I know for many of you this week, you have been enthralled, like I have, about all of the things that's happening on TV. But I am not a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. I know a lot of you girls are. So let us just quickly park the car really quick right here over by RuPaul's Drag Race. And someone tell me what happened Friday night when actor Jeff Goldblum of Jurassic Park fame, yes, that sexy Jeff Goldblum, apparently he was on Friday night's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, and things got a little bit out of control, is what I hear. Okay, so Goldblum, who appeared as a season 12 guest judge on Friday night's episode with his popular show that is on right now. Excuse me, I'm sorry, because I'm also reading the story as I speak to you. But Jeff Goldblum, who appeared as a season 12 guest judge on the wildly popular show with crazy ex-girlfriends Rachel Bloom, came under fire when he asked if the Islamic religion was anti-homosexuality and also anti-woman. Now let me color the background for you. His comments came during a Stars and Stripes themed runway walk, where contestant Jackie Cox, whose non-drag name is Darius Rose, wore a red and white striped kaftan and a blue hijab with silver stars. Now Cox, who is Iranian Canadian, strutted the runway saying, "You can be Middle Eastern, you can be Muslim, and you can still be American." His comments came during the Stripes runway walk, and Goldblum then decided to ask Cox if she was religious, to which she said that she was not. She further went to say, to be honest, this outfit really represents the importance that visibility for people of religious minorities need to have in this country. And then apparently that's when Jeff Goldblum asked about the Islamic religion and how it treats people who identify as LGBTQI and A. Is there something in this religion that is anti-homosexual and anti-woman? Does that complicate the issues? I'm just raising it and thinking out loud and maybe being stupid. All right. The comment instantly sparked a backlash from fans, some of whom insisted that Islam is not the only religion that persecutes women, and that the LGBTQIA community. Calling it a complex issue, Cox said that she also has misgivings about the way people who identify as LGBTQIA are treated in the Middle East. A recent study done in the Public Religion Research Institute found that 52% of American Muslims agreed that society should approve of homosexuality. Now, I don't, again, watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I don't really know too much about the misgivings of the show, and I know that the show has had some controversy surrounding it, even with its host RuPaul, and a lot of people of the LGBTQIA community of color have feelings towards RuPaul, and a lot of the girls out here who do drag and who have really kind of out of respect for the art of drag have also had some taken umbrage, if you will, with RuPaul. I don't necessarily know that Jeff Goldblum, and I could be being ignorant. I am Christian, I am not Muslim, and I am not from the Middle East, and so for those of you who are, please feel free to chime in here, but my thought process is, I don't think that it's bad to ask those kind of questions. You know, the theme is stars and stripes. and I don't think that that's just the theme. And what Ms. Cox chose to do with the theme, I think, she took the theme and she, used it and her platform to speak of misgivings here in America. I'm not sure why Jeff Goldblum felt the need to ask a question as it relates to, by and large, a religion, because we're talking about here in America, or as a place of origin, Middle Eastern. So when we are talking about a challenge that directly has its roots in the American culture, where freedom is what we are sold, what we're told that is by and large available to all of us, the irony that we would still have to say that me living in this country, even if the culture that I'm representing doesn't accept me, this country should, because that's what this country is about. So even if my Muslim religion that I still worship at doesn't accept me 100%, America should. Because we all here on borrowed time and borrowed land and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my one thing with, okay, Jeff Goldblum, what's your point? What's your point about bringing it up as it pertains to this challenge? You're challenging the contestant on whether the roots of what it is that they are representing, whether there's freedom there. We all know that there's not freedom there. But this wasn't about that. This is about here in America. So I don't know. It was just weird to me. All right. Last but not least, y'all. All right. I know y'all been wanting to talk about what is up with Anna and Andre. So first of all, let's start from the beginning, right? So ex-Vogue editor Andre Leon Talley has a new memoir coming out this September. The memoir, called The Chiffon Trenches, claims that Anna Wintour ended their friendship so she could be close with A-list celebrities such as Serena Williams and George Clooney and his wife Amal and Roger Federer, right? It also, the memoir, goes into detail about describing Anna as a person who is not capable of kindness and someone who replaced Leon Talley's role as editor at large because he was too uncool, too overweight, and just too uncool. Reiteration. Now, Andre Leon Talley is 70 years old at this point, and has, many of us, we know Andre Leon Talley as being this kind of ever-present fixture by Anna Wintour's side for much of the 90s, even into the early and mid 2000s. Now, for those of you who aren't really super familiar with Leon Talley, he actually came up in the European trenches in 1983, beginning his career with Anna. Now, he goes on to basically say that he doesn't consider this to be a vengeful, bitchy tell-all, and that he actually gave Galley, which is before its print, to Anna, saying that if there was anything that she saw in the book that was, not to her liking, he gave her carte blanche to voice that to him and to remove it. He says that he had a conversation, and she asked that passages about her daughter, B. Schaefer, and B's wedding, and a few other private references be removed from the book. Now, he does go on to say that some of the best years of his life were spent with Anna, and it's a lot. Now, I don't know how many of you recall this, but do you remember back in 2017, there was a documentary called The Gospel According to Andre? Now, he says that that's actually what gave him the confidence to write this book. He said that although things in the book are definitely more objectively true and factual, he, like the book, has many sides. He still regards Anna Wintour as being a brilliant editor, and also acknowledges that she is still very much a powerful woman, and that he doesn't want to take away anything from her. Honey. Now, he cites very much his appearance, his age, and I guess his lack of connections as being reasons why him and Anna eventually parted ways, and he was dismissed from his post at Vogue. But Anna Wintour is not the only person that is discussed in this book. Talley, who, talks a lot about himself in the book, also talks about Karl Lagerfeld, whom he met in 1975 when he interviewed the icon for Interview magazine. Now, he talks about how Lagerfeld would donate clothes to him, and that when Talley was working as editor for Vogue in Paris, he and Lagerfeld got so close that the designer actually revealed a traumatic childhood to Leon Talley, telling Talley that when he was young, he was actually beaten and tied up as a kid, and that he was tormented by his mother. And Lagerfeld, who spent much of his career wolfing down, as Leon Talley says in the book, quote unquote, wolfing down cold Frankfurter sausages at night straight out of the fridge. When he did lose weight, Lagerfeld said he wanted to wear clothes